The release for Pokemon Legends EA looms around the corner. It's definitely my most anticipated release of the year, barely edging out ahead of Metroid Prime 4, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, and Expedition 33, which, by the way, just released and is already phenomenal, possibly Game of the Year right here. So when it comes to Pokemon, while I'm sure it'll be far from the best game to be coming out this year, I'm just a sucker for a good Pokemon game, and Legends Arceus left such a good taste in my mouth that I'm very much excited for anything Legends, since it seems to be the higher quality mainline series for Pokemon. Even more exciting to me is the Switch 2 edition of Legends EA, which will give an improved resolution and much higher frame rate than its Switch 1 counterpart. But is that really all there will be to it? Suffice to say, I highly doubt that. After all, Nintendo has made extra sure to go out of their way to show off extra content for their Switch 2 editions, such as for Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Party Jamboree, and even Metroid Prime 4. Now there's a pretty long list of what can be added for Pokemon Legends EA that will be exclusive to the Switch 2 edition, so let's go ahead, let's jump straight into what those things could be. The first thing that comes to mind is an entirely separate area outside of Lumio City. Now a lot of us don't want to be confined to the city, so this would be amazing. Whether this means the catacombs underneath the city or a separate route or town in Kalos is up for debate, but I can tell you exactly what I'd want it to be. I firmly believe the catacombs, if it's going to be in the game at all, should be in the base game, even for the Switch 1 version. It would be a cool surprise for everyone, much like the underground was for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So with that being said, that means if anything should be locked to the Switch 2 edition only, then what that should be access to some of its surrounding routes in Kalos and possibly even a small town or two. Since Lumios will be fully open world, it would make sense that the Switch 2 would just be a more feasible option to include even more added to it. This could even come as post-game DLC, exclusive to the Switch 2 edition, rather than being included in that version's base game. Then again, the Legend series currently has no precedent for us to expect any sort of paid DLC for it. So, if we get additional areas, time will tell if Game Freak even cares enough to support this game after launch. Legends Arceus had free DLC content, so we could see something similar here too, if anything. The next thing that comes to mind is maybe some exclusive Pokemon that will only be available in the Switch 2 version. Probably a mythical Pokemon or two. Similarly to how Legends Arceus, we could only catch Shaman and Darkrai if we had save data from other Pokemon games on our systems, like Sword and Shield for example. Having a Switch 2 edition of Pokemon Legends EA could be the only way to access one of the mythicals like Deontay or something. In particular, she'd make the most sense that she can Mega Evolve, and your Switch 2 edition will basically be like a Mega Evolved version of your Legends EA game. Or we will only have access to a Mega Evolution for some other particular Pokemon with the Switch 2 edition under the same logic. I don't know. These ideas sound kind of poetic, but like in an awful money-grabbing way. However, I already know I'm getting the Switch 2 edition, so if this does end up being the case, then hey, at least I know I'll be set. Sorry, Switch 1ers. Now, when you look at the games like Metroid Prime 4, you'll notice it doesn't really have additional content, so much as additional gameplay options. The most noticeable one so far being the mouse mode. Looking to Prime 4 as an example now for Pokemon Legends EA, it's possible you might experience something similar here. Perhaps we won't be getting more content per se, but more gameplay options. Now, I'm not really seeing an avenue for mouse mode currently in what we've seen of ZA, but what I can see happening is maybe an exclusive mode in the Switch 2 version that takes advantage of the mouse controls. Maybe it's some sort of Pokemon minigame, or maybe it's some exclusive way we can interact with our Pokemon. There are quite a few possibilities, and if anyone will find some outside-of-the-box way to use this mechanic, it would be Game Freak. Now, will that be enjoyable? That's debatable, but it's very likely to be there regardless. If you have any more ideas for what they could do with mouse mode, please comment it down below and I'd be very curious to hear what you all think. A new mode in general, I do think sounds like a no-brainer for Game Freak in their Switch 2 version, and I just really think it'll be something that can use mouse mode. I also think we're definitely going to get some sort of exclusive customization options for our trainer in the upgraded version of ZA. An exclusive outfit or mask or something will definitely be there, I think. That's a given. It's low effort for the developers to implement and would be a great visual indicator for showing off at a glance that, hey, this person you're watching is playing the Switch 2 edition. With any luck, we'll actually get several exclusive clothing options, but that could also run the risk of making people feel like there's too much gatekeeping going on here. It's a weird line for the devs to walk, but again, as someone who's gonna happily be getting the Switch 2 edition anyway, I'll just be happy with more and more content no matter what. But what else do you think might be included exclusively in the Switch 2 edition, if anything at all? Comment down below so that we can all talk about it together. Afterwards, check out more of my videos like this one here where I show off what we'll see in the upcoming trailer for Pokemon Legends EA. Links right in front of you and in the pinned comment. If you're feeling generous and would like to support me and have your name featured at the end of all of my videos, then please join my Patreon with the link in front of you or in the description. I've been johtojonny, and I'll catch you all there.